That's where originally they were gonna put the new garbage chute.
Oh, I learned that?
And then you
That's
have
part
to
of
do
it.
this shit as well, which is,
Yes.
so it's
Yeah,
easy work for
that was
us.
40 minutes.
I think it's about right.
House committee?
This is okay? Yeah. I'm over, she's looking, I'm over control worry.
You are.
She's tired.
Can I come up now?
Yes.
Sure.
Why did you go?
Right, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, on his phone, so
Right,
I
before-
can't hear the echo.
Okay, before we begin, I just want to let you know that anything that can be said tonight is going to be recorded. So and can be forwarded at a later date. Okay, now, one of you, wait, what senior, the senior person who's been the chair the longest, and you were going to say, yeah.
Hello, how y'all doing? I'm the chair of the health committee. Nice seeing everyone this evening.
And we're gonna go around the room to introduce everybody else. Okay.
I'm Mark Murnick, Chair of Sanitation and Environment.
Oh,
We'll go this way.
That'd be you.
hi, excuse me, Linda Harrison. I'm the vice chair for the Resiliency Committee. And my chair is not here tonight, and I'll have to give it to you.
My name is Minnie Mankita and I'm on the Resiliency Committee.
Robin Parrison, Resiliency Committee.
Good evening, Tatiana Siegel. I'm actually chair of the Housing Committee, but I'm also a member of the Health Committee. That's why I'm here.
Nitria Brown, I'm on the Health Committee.
Ron Greenberg, pleasure to be here tonight with all of you.
Oh,
Charlene Davis, I'm part of the Health Committee, Housing, Environmental, I believe.
okay,
No,
cool. That's okay.
Michael Silverman, a member of the Environment and Sanitation Committees.
Lalita Zivilova, member of the Environmental and Sanitation Committee and Chair of Transportation Committee.
Raj Graham, member of the Environmental and Sanitation Committee and Vice Chair of the Environmental and Sanitation Committee, as well as licensing.
License, yes.
Yes.
Okay, and Barbara?
Barbara Santonis, Community Coordinator.
Hannah Glickman, Community Association. I forgot which one I.
Okay. All right, so you can start this by what's on the agenda. Here.
Which committee starting?
No,
We're starting.
we're gonna go all the way down. Okay, what's on the agenda? What's on the agenda? We're going to,
Discuss on FY 2026 District 13 capital budget priorities and requests, community district needs. Attach FY 2025 responses.
and, all right, so this part I'll take over. For the people who are new here, we usually do this every year. For what we call a wish list. We do 2 years in advance. That what do you call it? Well, what we've been doing is we're trying to find out what the district needs are under health, under environmental and sanitation, and under resiliency. What you have in your hand, I got the color one, but you guys have the black and white one, is what we put in for 2025. We're gonna go through it again, only because certain things that were listed here were not funded at that time, and we feel that it's still a need, even though that this agency did not fund that item. What we're gonna do is open this. We're gonna look at what you guys have on your paper, is the 8.5 by 14. The core infrastructure. And basically what this long sheet is. What the long sheet is, it basically shows what the needs are and what type of requests they can do. So basically, this is what you're looking at is the resource tool bag that the city has. They're saying that they could do the needs here. If we need them, we'll put it in. And the different types of things that we have here, are the, programs or capital that they can do. Speaking about capital, this part has been divided into two parts. One is a capital and one is expense. A capital, project is usually something that is structural and is cost more than $35,000, or more, which is a bigger project. The expense part is usually personnel or program that is not structured. So it's either one or the other. And right now, what we're gonna do is go through this, with the committee, and now you can put this, right? So the first part we're gonna go through is on page one. You guys actually have, something in the top three, which is page one, number two. We're only doing, health, environmental, which is DEP, and resiliency. So those are the three things. So if you see something like, the Parks Department here, we're not gonna look at it because we did it already, last Wednesday. But right now, we're gonna go on page one, priority number two. So, the request here is that we need a health care facility request, and what we asked Coney Island, not Coney Island, is a South Brooklyn facility, hospital, is that we would like them to have a C1 trauma center. For the people who don't know, Coney Island Hospital is no longer Coney Island Hospital, it's called South Brooklyn Health. And of course, this is the reasoning behind the ask. So it basically, with the new housing development and influx of tourists, during the summertime, we need a C1 trauma center in the neighborhood. We understand this is not a city budget item, but we need to make this aware to the city, state, and federal government that this is a priority for the neighborhood. Okay?
And do you
Yeah.
know if there are any other trauma centers?
Yes,
This
there
in
is
Brooklyn?
one is Lutheran.
Lutheran.
Which is 15 minutes away from here. And on a sunny day and on the summertime, it'll take much longer to get there. So especially if you're near the beach and you have some trauma in the water, you don't need, the time is essential. And especially now that this they've built a new facility or new wings in the hospital, we thought that, this is the time to act. This has been on this for at least 5 to 6 years. It hasn't been addressed because, as you know, as anyone knows, that a trauma center is 24/7. You have to have staff round the clock. So it's a big budget item. So for something like this, it's a big ask for us, but we're telling them that we still need it. So, yeah.
Yesterday, Dr. Brady said that he's pushing it with HHC.
Oh, okay.
Because with all the
Yeah.
new buildings and the new population.
Yeah.
It's really number one on their priority is to
Yeah.
get the trauma center.
Yeah, because, also have the senior population too, and with everything that's coming in with the new buildings, and the seaside, what do you call it, community that comes here in the summertime. It's a lot of things to ask for, but I think it's needed in the neighborhood.
And if
Why
we
should
have a
not-
casino,
Oh, and the casino
then
too,
it would really be a
which makes
necessary
it,
thing.
people get a heart attack, and stuff like that.
Yeah, just go over what a C1
Sure.
is, C1 trauma
Oh,
center.
us, someone who's here from any hospital that can say what a C1 trauma center is? Basically, trauma center is a trauma center that you need. I guess the name C1, I don't know what it stands for, I'm sorry. But it's basically, things dealing with trauma. And, and that's,
Like, I think if you go unconscious or something like that, they
Yeah.
send you there.
and is needed. They could do it here, but then they ship you to somewhere else to be, to be
Right.
stabilized and stuff like that. So,
And I think you ought to, it probably handles cardiac care.
no, because I
Yeah,
couldn't say
yeah,
what
yeah.
it
We
actually
talked
said.
about
it does,
cardiac
but-
care. There's certain stipulations for cardiac care and trauma.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, but something like this is needed, yes,
Why it's not considered a city budget item?
because it's more money to it. It goes to city, state, and federal government, and we asked them a long time ago, when we first initiated, they're like, we don't fund it, but you have to really go to your state. The state doesn't really look at this because this is city funding agencies that's going for it. But we need them to know that it's needed so that they can push it. As long as they know that we need it, they can say, well, it's been asked by the community. Now, it's on their part to ask their partner in the elected officials to say, yes, we can do it now. At that time when we asked for it, it wasn't, the hospital was Coney Island Hospital. They weren't renovated yet. They were not, the new wings weren't in yet. Now that we have, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, hospital there, you know, why don't we put it in there? I'm not the expert there, so I can't tell you, but it's something that's needed.
I just wanted to ask a few more questions. Do you know how many trauma centers there are in the city?
Oh,
And
that I couldn't tell you. I
There
couldn't tell you.
is level 1. I don't know why we call it C1. I think it's level 1.
Okay.
The level one, right,
Oh,
we are.
they
It's
are-
level 1, it's not C1.
Oh,
but
they
Level
told me.
1 trauma center is the whole list above.
Okay.
and what is the criteria? Is it the population, the amount of
That's
people, the
my next
age of the
question.
people? or-
That I couldn't tell you if it's a population that determines the C1 trauma, but I know that the funding part is the hardest part to get. So whatever it is, because it has to be 24/7, it has to have, you know, around the clock, you know, all the doctors have to be there. Coney Island Hospital, not Coney, South Brooklyn Hospital, it doesn't do it that time. I mean, you know, there isn't 24/7, you know, service for something like this, you know, need.
Right.
Okay,
Excuse me, have we followed up with the agency doing this study? They said they need more.
no, yeah, I mean, we tell them that we need the money. Barbara is, who is it, Roseanne DeJaneiro? Well, we asked her, and they know it, that there's, normal, Roseanne DeJaneiro is, president of the CAB, which is the Community Advisory Board, for the South Brooklyn facility.
Mhm.
And we asked her, is there, you know, funding, and she said there's none at this time. But, you know, we still ask for it, and, you know, we you know, hand in hand, work with them too. When we say we put it on our top 3 list for a priority, then they can go back to their board and say, look, Coney Island, the community board 13 is putting it on their priority, we should also look for it too, so.
What did you say CAP stands for?
CAB is the Community Advisory Board. Yeah, oh, if you don't know some of these acronyms,
Yes.
tell us, ask us, because we know them for, you know, the longest time. But for you guys newbies, ask, because we can tell you what they mean. CAB stands for Community Advisory Board, and they're the ones.
And Roseanne D.
Roseanne
Piera.
DeJaneiro is the president, current president of that one. Yes, Mike.
Can we also, we send a letter to our state officials,
Yes.
Jessica and Alex, and have them put that on a radar as well. Because they'd be very instrumental.
Oh, no,
from
definitely.
both, you know, parts there to try to get
I
funding.
took a
Okay.
guess.
I think that that doesn't hurt to do, and you know, it reminds them that, you know, this is a top
Right.
priority. So Barbara, and also they don't see this because they're state, we're a city, so
And
so.
Hakeem Barbara.
And Hakeem, yeah. Thank you. All right, oh, and well, since we're going that way too, since we also have Novacol, which he is, and Colton too, because he's the assembly.
Right.
And let's see, anybody else?
And I think we should also send it to
yeah.
HHC.
And HAC, and of course, our city council people, which is,
Ina.
Ina, and also credit, okay?
Excuse me, don't mean to belabor,
No.
it, but I think is this, in the study, you know, the elected officials and those who are gonna disperse the money, they like to have statistics. You know, exactly, you know, how many people will be saved by it, how many injuries have you had in the past, what's going on. I know we're trying to be proactive because, you know, the new population we're expecting, but do they have all those numbers? Can we prove
Well, we
that
could
it's
find out.
necessary?
Just looking at
Yeah.
it, I Googled it.
You know,
Level 1
Yeah,
trauma
okay.
must meet a number of criteria, including they must admit at least 1,200 trauma patients per year,
Okay.
or 240 patients with an injury severity score of more than 15. Don't ask me what that is. I'm sure.
But,
That's easy
No,
enough to
Sure,
get
sure.
from.
But-
Coney Island.
Oh, yeah, for not Coney, South Brooklyn
South-
facility,
South Brooklyn
yeah,
Health.
I know. But we could definitely find out, and we could work hand in hand with the CAB, because they're the one who can have access to it for us, yeah, they would love to hear it.
So should we change from C1 to level 1? I mean,
it's a
is
Yeah,
that,
But
It says level 1 wherever you look.
Okay. so we'll
Yeah,
change
yeah.
it to level.
Yeah, change it. Yeah, it's good to be accurate,
Yeah, yeah,
because they won't know what
Yeah.
we're talking about. We gotta be accurate.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, level one.
Yeah, as long as you're inaccurate, that's a good reason to say, no.
It's the wrong thing.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
When they
There's a couple of
deny,
places in that paragraph, so just don't.
Yes,
do the first, okay.
yeah, and yeah.
Okay, yes,
The wording being, this is not a city-only budget item,
was also.
it includes city funding.
mm,
I know the number.
is that a city budget item?
Only budget item.
I'm not. Yeah, what do you guys think? My grandfather, it's all,
What?
he just want to put the word, it's not only a city budget item only, but it's to make it with.
This is not a city budget, hold on.
Only.
To make this the word.
I'd leave that sentence out, how's that?
Or it's not just city budget.
Just,
It
that's
needs
it,
state funding, it needs
yeah,
whatever, or
I can say
as Michael said, just take it out. It makes it
Well,
confused.
No, it only would not be appropriate because it's specifically saying it is not a city budget. It's specifically saying it's not a city budget, so you can't just say city budget only.
Only budget.
Eddie, by the way, so C1, just
Yeah.
Okay.
C1 is, yes, injuries that are considered to be the most severe
Severe.
spinal cord injuries. So a level 1, yes, it's a level 1, but it's also a C, is that they're, yes, for injuries due to the
okay,
spine.
so is it level one or C one?
Well,
We
C1
need to
means the
figure
spinal
out-
injuries. It is a level 1, C1 is a level 1,
It's level 1, level 2, I think it's level 1.
Right.
That's what.
This is- but C meaning that they can handle a spinal injury. That's what it says. See what injuries are considered to be,
I know, but I
so
guess we're
that treats
saying,
injuries to the C1 vertebra, which is known as the atlas, the topmost cervical.
So that's one of the items.
exactly.
Huh?
So C should fall under level 1, is what
Right.
we're trying to say.
yeah,
Get a sharp attack.
One voice,
therapy
please,
is
one
trauma
voice.
center.
Level 1.
So it's level 1.
Okay, all right, so we'll leave it level, okay.
And I would take off
Wait, is
the
it-
whole sentence. We understand it's not a city budget. Why?
Me too.
We need why we should discuss what is the budget is that? We just want it and let them figure out what we need. It's also.
I agree.
Okay, I
Yeah, you let people off the hook that way.
They're gonna take it at level one.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take out the last sentence of that paragraph, which is fine.
And I think
So
we
we're
should,
gonna-
I'm sorry, I think we should also verify with Health and Hospital Human Corporation, the statistics, exactly how many C1 do they get in the community and
We can definitely find
versus
that out.
level, level 1.
Okay.
It makes a difference how it's funded.
Okay, I mean, we could find out with
How
the
hospitals
cap.
run.
If they don't have the capability, they're not
Mhm.
treating any of
Any
those
of it right now.
patients.
There is. none.
So the
You probably, you
statistic,
That
probably
means
get
that
it
there's-
from referral, how
there
many
is
people did
special-
how many
referral.
they send somewhere else.
But I wouldn't cap it at C.
This.
I would
Right.
just do level 1, because
Right.
you're gonna have
Right.
a smaller number.
Right, right,
So
I
there-
agree.
I'm just
If
reading
that's,
from the
if that's the
internet.
case, yeah.
So, well, no, because trauma center levels,
We can all
reading
spell
from the
it.
internet, yeah.
Mhm.
Trauma center levels across the United States are identified in 2 fashions: designation process and a verification process. The different levels, level 1, 2, or 3, or 4, refer to the kinds of resources available in the trauma center and the number of patients admitted yearly. These are,
Okay.
and then the other one is evaluation process.
No, okay, but
So-
the C,
But
the
there-
level
I
one.
think it's the
level-
same thing. A C1 is the level 1 already, no?
No,
Yeah,
we're gonna
C
call-
might fall under level 1 is what we're saying. So level 1, then you
Because
have
as
these
I'll go
A,
down
B, C, different,
Later.
you break out.
And we'll
after level
verify
1.
that
Yeah.
with the hospital, with Health and
Yeah,
Human,
they're-
Services. We're not
yeah,
medical.
we're not
people, but
medical, yeah.
we need to-
Let's go. Oh, Pat Roman, yeah, Pat Roman, sure. All right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the spinal,
All
injury, the
right,
car
so
accident.
we'll leave it at number 2, because I think we still, yeah.
could we also include a sentence, about the fact that we have like the Bell Parkway?
No, because
That's too much.
no, that's,
That's too
we're,
much.
we're requesting it because they know where we're located. To start putting in things, then you're gonna say, well, you left out this part and you left out that part. I don't want them to think only because there's Bell Parkway.
Right.
Bell Parkway
Or-
is essential. Yeah,
Or
it is.
Ocean Parkway, there's a
Well,
lot
they
of
say-
that.
That would be in the study.
Yeah.
That would be in the study that the Health and Human Hospitals representative can share with us. That
And
would
it's
be
CB13,
overall
and
study.
You get too
CB13.
specific, you
Sure, yeah.
lower your scope.
Yeah.
So-
Yes, right.
That's it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
That's
so,
exactly right.
so, okay, so we'll put that in as number 1, number 2, sorry. Alright, so our next page is page number 2, priority number 4. This is a fun one. This is basically a new or upgraded existing sanitation garage or other sanitation infrastructure. As you know, CB 13 wants to get a garage over on, what do you call it, over by the, for people who know this, the Brooklyn Union Gas tanks over by Shell Road. They're no longer available because what has happened, they sold it off, National Grid has sold it off to another company. So based on that, we're looking for other locations. Well, originally it was to house 2 garages, which was CB 13 and CB 15. But now that it's moved, the point's moved there because we don't have a garage location at this time. But it's still needed. We are talking to sanitation again. They're up for renewal. There is a 5-year renewal. Every 5 years, they come back to say, if you can't find a spot, we'll renew you for another 5 years. They're at that point now to renew a location, the existing location. And we would prefer not to wait another 5 years to come back to them and say, we found you a spot. So this part here, we're asking them to keep it. Yeah.
Can I ask you what do you know what CB 15 is?
Yeah.
Doing.
They have 2 garages that are working out of trailers. One is on Knapp Street / Emmons Avenue over there. And the other one is on Utica Avenue, further up north. And they are living out of a trailer. Because they got affected by Sandy. This here request has been, we got affected by Sandy, but we also been asking this since 1985, give or take. So that's over 40 years. So that's a lot of time that they still haven't found the situation, and
What, excuse me, what is Disney requesting? Are they, do they have places, that they
Well,
would like to go to? Or-
we give them places and they gotta figure out if they can put a garage there. One location that we're hoping, crossing our finger, that they can do is on Shore Parkway, right off the Bell Parkway on 26th Avenue. Right where CB 11 and CB 15, no, CB 13 is. They don't like us going to their side because it's not their garbage, but it's right on that line there, where the waste transfer station is. This is, so what we would say is ideal, only because it's not near residential. And it's on the other side of the Belt Parkway, and traffic is going to and from 26th Avenue. So we thought that that could be a good idea for them. They haven't gotten back to us if they want to use that part, but the only caveat to that part is they could only use it for 1 garage and not 2. So I said, screw the other garage and we just put ours in. So they haven't gotten back to us about that, because I said, if you can't fit 2 for whatever reason, then just put 1 and it should be sufficient for us, because we've been waiting for the last 40 years. So
I'm sorry, why are we choosing this site?
No,
Shouldn't
no.
they choose the site? that they
they're being
want?
very lax about it and they don't care. Unless we come forward to them and say, this is a site we want. Their site has always been the Brooklyn Union Gas site forever. And they had to remediate it, they had to clean it up. Once it was cleaned up, they were ready to put the shovel to the ground. And then at the 11th hour, they pulled out the rug and said, we don't have money to put in a 99-year lease on that land. They couldn't even do that, to put a deposit. Not even building it, a deposit. So we're like, well, if you could show good faith by putting a deposit on it, then that's good. But city said, no, we don't have the money for it. And we're like, okay, that doesn't sound right. So whatever happened, with the money, we don't know. But of course, things happened in between that time, like the pandemic. So all the money that it might have been held for whatever reason, it's been put aside and never been replenished. So we're still looking for a site for them. And this is one of the site that came up. So
does Community Board 15 have us listed too on theirs?
no, because they just have it for theirs, that they need to replace their garage. And
So the
that's it.
benefit of adding them in our verbiage is what?
It was because it would move it faster at that location at National Grid. Because the people at what they call sanitation made it beneficial for housing 2 garages at that one location. Now that location is null and void, we thought. So this one over here on Shore Parkway, and we're going to try to see if that can be used.
Don't we need to rewrite
Oh, no,
this
I'll
since
rewrite
that's
that.
not an
No,
option?
but this is the old one
Yeah.
from last year, so
Okay.
I'll rewrite this part where we're going to look at a new location just to house our garage only.
Oh,
That's it.
okay.
Yeah, no, this is from last year, no, what you're reading, yeah, it's last year, and they're like, the funds were uncertain, and that's why,
So you're gonna leave out since Superstorm.
Yeah, we're taking a CB
I
50,
want to
yeah,
get
we're taking a
out.
CB
I
50.
have another question.
Sorry,
Thanks a lot.
yes,
I have another question. Since we know that the issue is dollars.
Mm.
Okay, whether it be garage for one or two community boards.
Mm.
And it was denied because of lack of funds from the city.
Mm.
Oh, shouldn't we consider moving it down on the list a little bit? Moving something else up that might get approved, that there might be a bank for?
I'll leave that up to you guys. I'm not gonna decide this. So it's up to you if you want to move it down as a priority, within the top 10 still, but not as a
Right.
top 5.
Well, let's, I'm
Well,
still looking at
You know,
everything
is
first
there-
before
is
we
there
do that.
something else that the
Excuse me.
committee feels
Mhm.
will be easier to get approved and be more of an immediate benefit to the community?
Are we still talking sanitation or just some other priority?
Another priority, instead of having this here at number 4, slide it down a little bit, maybe something else. Maybe it's the next one about seawalls and
Yeah.
bulkheads.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's it.
No, what we could do is, let's say take number 4 and push it to number 10, and then everything that was below it pushes up 1. So
Well,
look at, so take a look.
You know, and
Yeah.
it works for everybody.
But you said their 5 years is up now.
It's up, it's gonna be up at end of December. And they're in the process of putting
So if
another
it's up
lease
in
for.
December, we should already know whether they're gonna do it or not.
Yeah, well,
We
that's
saying
why,
they're not?
what we've been doing is over the summer, talking to them, and
And what do you think?
they. It's the city, that's all I'm gonna say,
Right, so
and
we
knowing the
should know
city,
by now it's
yeah,
September.
yeah, and the city is just dragging their, their butts,
Okay, so it's
trying to
not
do it.
happening.
Well, that's
I
where
agree with you.
resiliency
Yeah.
comes in.
If it's
Slide
up
it
in
down, it's
December, we
something
would
else that
know.
we
Yeah.
can move up to
Yeah,
number
I
5.
agree with you.
Okay.
Happened in 40 years.
Yeah, well, it's been brought up a couple of times, and it's been taken off. Because they were in the part where they said they were gonna sign the dotted line, and then it got pulled, it had to be pulled back into, what do you call it, in here. So that it could be recognized that it was still a need in the neighborhood. And like I said, it's not that the money isn't there, it's just more of showing that this is a need. Whether it's a top 4 need, that's up to you guys, versus, top 10.
Well, it's a need, you're saying, because it's behind neighbor's backyard. So do we have some kind of rat increase?
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
you
what
haven't.
are we
yeah.
saying? Cause I don't get anything from
Let's put it this way,
Except it's
they've
behind
been
backyard.
promised to move that garage
Who's-
since 1980.
Who's that?
The people who live over
The
there on
residents over
22nd
there?
Street, 22nd Street,
Because of the
Mayor
city?
Koch. Oh,
Because. of
it's
the
the understatement, it's an understatement there. They do not go in their backyards, they do not, they've been living like this for the last 40
The
years.
smell has impacted their health. What?
It's all of the above,
It's
but,
the
but,
same- this
no,
is me,
but,
I go
but-
in that.
but you see, the whole thing there is, we're not gonna solve that problem
No,
for them,
I-
it's just more of putting the need there. It's not
I
condemned.
mean, have we put some of that verbiage in, cause this is something that's just, I'm gonna move on, if I'm looking at it.
No, it's not.
He said they
They're still there. What?
Excuse me, can I say
So,
something?
Yeah.
sit down.
Say
It
something.
ain't happening if it leases up in
Yeah,
December.
but even if you move it down, you could make a stronger language. Language.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
that
Well,
affects
yeah.
quality of people's lives, that affects their health,
I
it
mean,
affects environment, yada,
I
yada.
think cause
Excuse
I
me. No,
know
no,
what
I
you
see what
mean,
you're
and
saying,
because it's been on there for so
Yeah.
long.
Mm.
But if you start sugarcoating or just,
Mhm.
lightly talking about stuff, then the
Yeah.
newer people coming in, they just pass it over.
Okay, there's more new people who needs the explanation. We can definitely put in there why it needs to be moved.
But I agree, since
Yeah.
it's almost
Yeah, I think
December,
it's-
it's not.
Yeah,
happening.
I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
okay,
I
could
don't
move it
know if
down.
it should be number 10, though. I
Okay.
think we should go through the rest and talk
Exactly,
about it.
exactly. And I have a question. well, question and a concern, because if I'm living on West 21st Street behind the garage,
22nd Street, yeah.
22nd Street, wherever, and this has taken a number of years,
Yes.
you know, I'm saying y'all don't live where I live,
Mm.
and someone needs to take up for me, you know, and continue this process. Again, what priority we give it, that's fine, but continue pushing it. 40 years is way too long. Something obviously is going on. And maybe the resiliency committee could look into that, find out, you know, what we can do to help their process along where the funds are, whatever, but don't disregard these people's needs. That's all I'm
No.
saying. Don't
No, no,
disregard.
no.
It's still up there in the priority,
I mean,
and we need to find a place for them.
I mean, just to give some insight about this, one of our, one of the former board member who used to be here, is Marty Bromberger. His house basically was behind, the sanitation garage, and he was on there to always fight for it. And of course, he knew that, you know, it wasn't gonna happen, but he was still, making sure that the sanitation garage, they promised the sanitation garage was gonna move when he moved in. And that was back in 1982.
That's horrible.
It was, and they did promise him that they were gonna move it, but funding, you know, what do you call it? The Mayor Koch, Mayor Koch promised him, that's how. But each year, you know, budget cuts and stuff like that, there was a top priority for the city to do it. I mean, they need it because they live in there.
So can we, so what can we enter this again for the new budget for?
It's gonna be in there. The question is, if it's not for, you know, we
Uh-huh.
can work that in, like you said,
Mhm.
as we go along.
Mhm.
Yes,
I would suggest moving up, if, I know the safety meeting with transportation will be next week. Number 7, it's much more likely to actually be funded, that's in EDR to
Mhm.
put the new number 4.
I think we should finish going through.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
go through, yeah, let's just go through it first, because right now, to start, cherry picking, people in, on the
Exactly.
Monday, it's gonna say, well, why didn't we see this part?
Yeah,
And
it's
you know
not that
what?
simple,
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, all right, so, all right, that's good point. And we will revise this so that it'd be more detailed, since it's the location is not gonna be over here and CB 15 is not gonna be there. We can write a paragraph so that the newer people can understand why it needs to be moved.
Important,
Like,
yeah.
because like you said, it doesn't say anything about 40 years and no one knows that it, like you said, yeah, it's bad. And what might be good if, anyone has listened to this, the mayor had put out a new directive saying that they're looking at city-owned vacant land and they want to build affordable housing on it.
Yes.
The
That's their
sanitation garage
priority.
is a vacant land that they have, the garage space, where they park the cars. Where they park the cars and park the trucks, if they can get rid of that garage, now they have a plan where they can actually, maximize their affordability of housing that they want to put in, so.
Open up another can of.
Yep,
worms.
so like I said, I'm just letting you know, okay, but, or bigger community facility that you guys would like, you know, so.
More traffic on that part of Neptune? No.
Well, like I said, I'm not gonna go into that at this time, but,
Presumably remediation
yes.
of what was where they're parking
Okay.
the
We're gonna
garbage
talk
trucks.
about number
No.
5.
No, because that is, under parks, the
All right,
transportation,
let's not.
that's under transportation.
Why is it under transportation?
Because, because the needs that you have here, if you look at it, they say what the needs are, and in the needs, under transportation, has about bulkhead. So, and that's why it's not under here.
That's crazy. That should be
It
resilient.
should be, but it's not. I mean, well, we can talk about that in transportation meeting on.
Yeah, I
Monday.
think you
Yes,
should make a note.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, like, well,
because
No,
I,
no, no,
I
no.
don't know if we've had much
No.
done in terms of making the community
No,
safer.
if Sandy happened again, we're not much better than where we were. So, so what we have to do is, figure out, what short-term goals, can be done still. Versus waiting for the long term, which is the Army Corps of Engineer, which is to lift the boardwalk or to put a seawall around the area, not here, but like, in.
So we've had
Make
no
it-
remediate or very little remediation.
Little remediation. The only thing that we can say is the seagrass, they put on the beach, has helped out and also, not helped out on that side. On the Seagate side, which is Conneaut Creek, hasn't helped out because they're still getting the sand into their backyard and, you know, water's still coming in.
We still have a lot to do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's continue on because we do have a little bit more, a lot more to go through. All right, page 4, number 8.
Page 4?
Page 4, this priority number 8. All right, going over this is to evaluate public location and property for green infrastructure, example, green gardens, stormwater, green streets, green playground, et cetera. And we basically said we need to provide green infrastructure such as stormwater, green street, playground for porous street pavement along the shoreline. We realize that the short-term solutions are needed, but long-term plans are approved and until long-term plans are approved and financed. Of course, they said they have to find out if they can do it. One caveat about this part is we are on a low water table where high water table, that if you go down 4 feet, you'll hit water. During high tide and even lower, higher. But with rain garden or a bios well, that's what it's really called, they have to go 8 feet down. And that's why it's harder for us to get that type of things here. But within the last time we mentioned about the street pavement, they've started to do porous streets. And if you have gone down 16th Street, they started putting white bands along the curbside. Those are the porous pavement that they're doing. Whether they work or not, we don't know. We'll find out when
West 16th and where?
between Hart Place all the way down to Surf Avenue and on Surf between 15th and 16th Street. You can see there's a white strip of band that's going there.
And that will be for the porous pavement.
Porous pavement in the streets. Usually it's in playgrounds only or in green areas where it's not tracked as much. Now this is gonna be tracked over by trucks and cars, heavier things. And we want to see if it actually absorbs the water during a heavy storm, heavy rainstorm. We won't know until they finally finish it.
So this will be like a pilot project?
Yes, it is a pilot project and we've gotten it. We're the only one in Brooklyn that has it. So if it works, our suggestion to the street, to National Grid, Con Ed and Verizon is that when they tear up the street, that they put back porous pavement. So that, because if it works, we're hoping that it does. Like you said, I'm not sure, does one little patch work or does it have to be a whole strip to make it work? So, but something like this, is needed and.
I'm shocked that this is not resiliency as well.
No, it is.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
see, there's no Department of Resiliency. That's the whole thing. So it has to be under DEP. So the resiliency part, it falls into this part.
Okay.
So, yeah, I know, that's.
Cause you know, that's all resiliency stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is resiliency. Oh, no, it's definitely resiliency.
There's
So-
a playground going on in
Sure,
Queens.
sure. Do they have it? Do they
No,
have
it's
it?
I think they're,
It's concrete
I
or?
think last
or
time they
it's-
told, no, the sunken.
Oh, sunken one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they just didn't learn. They didn't learn.
Surprise.
They just didn't learn.
And
Yes.
it says over here that OMB responded by saying that we should contact the agency directly.
Which is DEP.
Okay.
Yeah, and they told us we can't do it because it's not low enough, but since that time, you know, they have porous pavement. And that's where we are at right now. But we still need other sources besides the porous pavement. We need Green Street. Someone mentioned at one of the meetings a year or two ago that in Queens, I don't know if it was somewhere in Queens or Far Rockaway where they had the median put into the, what do you call it, into Green Garden. Because that was the highest point there. They said that they could do it. Question is, I don't know if it worked out at that part. That
Could we
was.
find out?
We can find out. It's like a rain garden, but it was designed differently. I don't know if it worked 100%. And that part went to the Parks Department. And the Parks Department or
Cover from, they need so much space. to do
yes.
these rain gardens.
Yeah, they have to catch the water.
Acre and-
Yes.
All right, so question. So, since it says here about the stormwater and the green street.
Yeah.
So, do you submit this exactly how it is, or is this just for us to work on right now?
This is what we wrote last year. So if you want to put anything else
So this
in
is
there.
actually how.
Yeah, it was that, if you want to add a thing or two to it, we can do it, but it's.
Okay, because I was gonna focus on, I mean, for this particular thing, I think the stormwater green streets.
Mm.
Would hold more weight than anything else up here, the green playgrounds and everything, because
I know.
anytime a basic
Yeah.
rainstorm
Yeah.
here in Coney Island
Oh,
floods
yeah.
block the street,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah,
drive
we-
down
we seen
anything.
it, yes,
across
we
the
see it.
street.
Yes.
So I think it should be more emphasis on the stormwater green streets.
Hmm.
More than playgrounds or anything else. And I think detail, like you
Yeah.
said, the wording,
Yeah,
you need evidence, like there's no evidence.
No, they're building those green playgrounds now, concept right now, one is in Queens,
Yeah.
but what they do is they collect a lot of water, which will take it from the streets.
yeah, and then
So we
go-
should include them all because each one has certain requirements, so you don't wanna nail down one and then, oh, we can't fit it there in your area, but the others might be available, a concept that we could utilize.
See, the question mark
Yeah.
with that with us is,
Mm.
they just renovated a bunch of our playgrounds already.
Well, some of them
You know,
have,
right? So they just invested money.
They will still be able to utilize them. They just have a way, I don't wanna waste
Yeah.
time in that, but the concept is it'll collect the water.
Yeah.
When the water's gone, it's back, the kids could use it. So it's helping us and the kids still get what they need at the same time.
Okay.
I have a question though, where
Sure.
they say that, we have to contact them directly and give more information, so.
no,
Yes, it's not here.
they tell us, that they can't do it, and we tell them each time, look, technology might not have been there 5 years ago, but 5 years later, we're here, and now we have porous pavements. So,
So you gave them more information?
yeah, we tell them each time that we want it, it's just more of them saying, they can't do it at that time. And it's true, but 5 years later, if we still ask the same question and then realize that, yes, there is a street, what do you call it, street porous pavement. It's just like technology and time catching up to what our ask are.
Mhm.
And sometimes it catches up, sometimes it just stays in back in the last year's century.
Mhm.
Alright,
Okay.
so, alright, so we're leaving that in, like I said, to explain this so that you understand why we put in, is needed.
Yeah.
Alright, so next page, page 5, is number 11. Capital, the develop a capital project specifically in street segment, currently lacking sanitary sewer. Okay, so what has happened within the last, 5 years, 7 years, you see Surf Avenue's been done up to like West 21st Street. They tore it up, and they've done what they have done to put into new housing. But because they've done that part to accommodate the new structure, they've forgotten about the old one. So we're asking them to, from West 21st Street to West 37th Street. It could go to Seagate, but it's not good.
Even if it goes to Seagate, 'cause
Yeah,
during
Up to
the,
that part, yeah.
during the earthquake, they kept it quiet, but 37th Street outside of Seagate had that water sprout.
Yeah,
It cracked.
That's right. So
Mhm.
something like this is definitely need to upgrade. And since Sandy, things have shifted and
Absolutely.
people don't realize that just because it looks normal on top, things shift underneath, and especially we have sand underneath this landfill, we'll find out very quickly if another earthquakes happen and the pipes just shift, and then you get that water main break. And they did have that water main break on Bay 37th Street the other day on Cropsey.
And
Yeah,
they had a
and,
sinkhole.
Yeah, sinkhole, yeah, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing, if you do see sinkholes at a reoccurring section, let us know. Oh, and don't wait about it to put it in here. Just call 311 and let us know about those things. Because those things do happen. And if it's a pattern, then we tell DP, look, you filled it in last time, there's something wrong here, yes.
I was about to say, St. Paul, there is one on,
Which one?
areas between Mermaid and Neptune.
Yes, we've been aware of that one. What has happened over there is
They fill it and then.
they fill it and it still sinks in. What we're, a little history behind this is, we're trying to be proactive, but there's no real agency that really deals with this. It has to go to the federal government, which deals with.
Sinkhole?
Yes, earthquake, what do you call it, what do you call it, what do you call that, when you have the. Seismic, that's the, right, seismic reaction. We tried to get, DEP local, DEC local, state local, and they're all looking at me and I had 3 heads, and I'm like, no, there's something happening here, and we know it because we live here. And it's happening at the same location, and they're like, no, the only way you can do this is through the federal government, which deals with seismic, reaction in the area. And of course, they're like, well, can you prove it? And we're like, well, we can't prove it, but there's sinkhole, and they're like, well, you have to get your congressman to do, at the ask, and they're like, unless there's more, what do you call it? They always say, is more reactive than proactive. For us to do it, they're like, we're throwing money away, but for us, we see it, and until it happens, then they react to
Swallow
it.
somebody's
Sure,
car.
yeah, or car, I mean, like you said, well, I'm more concerned if you saw where there's a hole there. There's also a hole on West 28th Street. I'm worried that it goes straight across. Because on West 28th Street, about 3 years before the sinkhole that you have on 30th Street, there was a water main break right by Coney Island Gospel Assembly. No, north, right by, north of right by Neptune. And that section happened to go straight over to 30th Street. If you look straight down, that is the same location. So I'm more concerned that it goes, it doesn't have to be one street. It can go along whatever, the fine line, where they filled in the landfill. And that part might be, undermined by the water that we had from Sandy. We can't get anyone to look down below because unless something, triggers it. Yeah, we like to be proactive, but for them, they can't, justify it unless there, something does happen. And that's why, something like this, we want to be proactive for it.
So you're saying develop a capital project? Is it a study that you want to do? What?
No, we need money.
specifically-
They know that we need money just to fix the infrastructure. There is a big budget, it is a big, huge budget. The one that you see over here on, Surf Avenue, that was between 21st Street to 16th Street. That cost millions and millions of dollars, and it was at least it was at least 6 to 8 years to do it. And that was just a little section there. We're asking from them to continue from where they left off on 21st Street to go all the way to
I
West
see.
37th Street to finish what they've done, because they're catering to the new building, that's what it was. They still had to continue what exists there, because if anyone knows, these pipes are 100 years old. They're 100 years old, and there are gonna be leaks in there, and it's wear and tear, and it's just not how, it's when it's gonna happen. And we would like to be proactive, and that's why this is at that point. Okay, so, and of course, nobody under their budget is going to say, yes, we're gonna do it right away. They're gonna do a study, they're gonna do, a section of it, capital here, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and that's what you see on 16th Street. Those are different phase, that's phase 3A. There's a 4A, there's a 5, and there's a 6, which goes down all the way to Shell Row and to Ocean Parkway. Yeah, trust me, you guys thought you're finished yet? No, there's more coming in, and we can reveal that one day when we get DDC, who is people who are in charge of future development for the sewer lines. Okay, but that's another time
Okay.
to go with. All right, so this one should be here, just so that that it could be noted. Okay.
I'm sorry, did I miss something? Were we upping this again, right?
No, you don't need to up it. I mean,
We're putting it back on the board.
oh, no, it's still there. Yeah, it's still there. It is a need. They didn't address it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it says directly contact the agency directly and promptly. So we've done that, I assume.
Yeah, we always ask them to give us money, and they're gonna say there's no money in the budget, and that's that will always be their answer, because it's not a top
more
priority for them.
information.
Yeah, all right, so
But it still remains a priority.
yes, it's still a priority, yes.
And we have to have it
Yeah.
there.
Alright, so, skipping along to page 11. We're going to, number 32. Alright, this is, let's see. Oh, well, this basically, were one or two items that just came up, within the last 2 or 3 years. As you know, there's flooding over by PS 188, at Neptune, where it just floods. And we were trying to see if they could look at it closely. We have gotten them to look closely, and they said that they have to raise the outfall on 33rd Street.
They have to
because
raise the what?
the outfall,
Outfall.
there's a pipeline that goes out to the
What did you call it?
Outflow.
Outflow.
sorry, outflow that goes out to the Coney Island Creek, and based on that, it's too low. Because back then, it was built accordingly, but seawater are rising, and right now it's being covered when there's a heavy rainstorm going out, and those water backs up back into the street. And we still need it there, to address that. Okay, any question with that? All right, good. So
Yeah,
Yes.
you wanna change
Mhm.
first paragraph
on
to the last, fourth to the last word,
what's the word?
to alleviate part of the problem as opposed to alleviate park.
Oh,
Oh,
that,
mhm.
God, yeah, typo, sorry, guys. Good point. See, when you do spell check and it catches as what do you call it, it is a
Yeah,
word,
yeah.
you know that is not part of the grammar.
Right, I have to correct
You know.
spell check sometimes.
Alright, so, alright, we finished the part of the capital. Alright, now on page 12 is CS. For the people who don't know what CS means, CS is called continued support. Continued support is basically what, it's been funded. And we don't want them to forget about it, because sometimes the funding is there and is not, what do you call it, addressed, or is not, notified in our needs. They might take it out and we would never know that. So we keep on, basically,
They designate
they-
a certain amount of funding.
they said this project does work.
And then they don't,
Because of budget cuts sometimes, and they just take it out. So,
and we're not notified, we don't know.
well,
what's
they just say that there's no more funding in that budget, and they don't tell us because we're not on top of it. By us putting it on CS means that it's a continuous support of this type of program that's
Okay.
been approved by them. So, so I guess this is the one, what do you call it? We evaluate the public location for green infrastructure, rain guard. This is the same one as was before. And we, basically, it's just saying we're continuing support for it, that they're putting money into it.
I think it's,
All right?
Oh, wait.
Yes.
CS.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm looking at two. I'm
What,
just looking at, which is number 8. Number 8. Look at number 8, and maybe it might be
What page?
number 8.
No, page 4.
Page 4, number 8. It might be, because now
It's the
that
same
you're
thing?
looking at, it
Yeah.
might be the same thing.
Yeah, but
But the wording's a little different.
Mm,
Just slightly, they tweak
The
it.
request is the
Specific.
same. The request is the same.
Yeah.
It's just the evaluate explanation is what we're looking at now. So, yes,
Haven't they, well, they have put some porous pavement.
Yeah.
Test sites, if you will,
okay.
but we won't know,
If it
we
works.
don't know if they even put money to evaluate it afterwards, they just put it in, okay, go away. I mean, do we get
I
to
don't
know,
understand. They just put it in, go away?
you now have to
So-
have money to do the study. But in between putting it in and coming back 3 years later to do the study, the money's gone, so there's no study.
So
It
you're
just sits
saying
there.
they put in the
No, I
porous
don't
pavement?
know that they
No,
put it
no.
in, but
Oh.
I'm saying if you do, you need both to put it in and then to evaluate what you've done.
Okay.
And that's usually 2 different administrations by the time put it in and
See
4
if it
years
works.
or more later
Yeah.
to see, did it work
So
and
there's
should
no
we?
accountability.
Wow.
No continuation.
Continuation.
There's no
Unless
continuation,
we're-
no.
Continuity.
Unless
No
we're
continuity,
putting in
yeah.
this, yeah, we,
So we just leave this part as a continuous support.
Yeah,
to look
if-
up
if-
on the porous pavement.
If they come back and say, well, it didn't work, so we're not gonna continue, we have an answer, right?
But they follow up.
No,
No, you're talking about the city.
They're supposed to.
They're supposed
Yes.
to, but in the perfect world,
You know that they
sure. yeah.
aren't the best at following up their studies or even finishing their
Yeah.
studies and things like that.
wherever it got in the budget,
It never ceases to amaze
Yeah,
me.
well,
Oh.
it's a city,
Just,
yeah, it's a
um,
city, yes.
I
But-
had something, but I think she had something.
Okay, yeah.
I just wanted to know,
Yeah.
who classifies it as continued support?
we do.
All right, and but how, on the what grounds, just because it says OMB supports the agency's position as followed, and then it says, please contact the agency directly and promptly for more information. So where's the support?
The, they're putting the money into the the porous pavement for the porous street pavement. For us, we're continuing for them to continue that project. Okay, so what was asked before was the playground and what do you call it? It was asked of the playground, yeah, number 8.
I remember.
Alright, so that was more of just everything in general, which is the playground, what do you call it, bioswale and the green streets. This part here is more of going directly to the porous pavement of the street itself,
Why?
okay? So, which one?
Why did you get specific when you got to that item?
Because we knew that they were doing it and we said, you know what, we want them to support it and not, like you said, take the money out later. We only found out that they were putting it in within the last 2 years. So when they put it in, we were happy. We weren't gonna turn away the new concept. But at the same time, we wanted them to continue it in case, you know, like you said, if the funding runs out, we know that it's gonna be there until it finishes.
Is the funding out already yet?
Or it's on 16th Street here.
Right, I mean, I guess my thought process is since
Mhm.
that worked and it got you the porous.
Mhm.
To start that, can we still just open this up to make sure that that's not their only focus? Cause you know, as we go to those meetings, they
Yeah.
keep coming up with new
Yeah.
ideas. And we don't wanna make sure that they don't include us because we only concerned about the
Oh,
porous
yeah,
payment.
what, yeah, this one was more specific to that street on West 16th
So
Street.
this was only for that street, and the
Yeah,
other one was. for
Not,
that?
it was not going for the whole, you know, what do you call it, the whole island.
Can we have,
Hmm?
not the next environment, can we have somebody from DEP to ask,
Mhm.
did this,
Mhm.
what you put in, did it
Mhm.
work?
Yes.
Mhm.
And then we
Yes.
should
Just-
then,
Yeah,
We can do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, I'm not sure if we could do it yet until it finishes, because right now, they're putting it in as we speak. So I don't want them to say, yeah, because I don't want them
Right.
to say, oh, well, you know, yes, it's working now, but then, you know.
but then we would have, well, the study
They're not
ends
finished.
in next June,
Mm,
and then we know, get on their butt next June.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, we could
Because
definitely,
right
can follow
now,
up
we
with
don't
that,
know
yeah.
if it's actually working,
Yeah,
or if it just
Mm.
collapsed the whole street.
Yeah.
Potholes
I
and
think
this-
that's
we're
a
not
good
gonna do
point.
this anymore, cause we don't know.
So they should
We-
conduct environmental impact study formally?
No.
No.
No, I'm just saying that they put in the porous in these test locations.
Mhm.
Now we
see it work.
wanna see the
Let them
results.
see
Did this
what
work?
you-
So we can then, so
I-
let's
yes.
go put this in every street or whatever, you know, whatever it
We
is.
could be
Or
the guinea pig and say, look, if
you
you
were-
wanna come by, you can see it work.
or-
And, or if it didn't work, because that's another thing, you
Right.
know, now you wasted whatever, money, for the
Fine,
street.
but-
But it's to find out,
Or you ask the question.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now that 16th Street is completed.
Yeah.
Okay, what are your findings?
Yeah,
Right,
no,
right.
I think
Work?
we can
Did it
definitely do
work?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When was it
for the
completed?
future. No, I think it's good because like you said, it's more trying to, what was it?
When was it completed?
No, it's not complete. It's still, the street is still
But part of it was done,
part of, well, the one on
Yeah.
Surf Avenue is done.
They're Working on the curves now.
Yeah.
and things like
but
that.
there was some that you could have looked at when we had that cloud burst, but that.
No, like I said, I don't know if it has to be all of it be in place first
Mhm.
for it to work, or is it one? Because if you go and look at that one and the rest of it isn't finished, guess
Mhm.
what? you're only doing it at a project that's not completely finished.
That's by Raymore and Flanagan.
Yes, over there too,
Over
yes,
there.
on Hart Place.
oh,
on Hart
oh,
Place.
Oh,
Yes,
They did?
yeah, they done that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Still working on it.
they're still working on it, but
Penny,
yeah.
when you mentioned using the medians,
Mm.
I didn't totally understand. You mean a median like, in dividing two streets and
two
putting
streets.
grass there?
Yes,
And that would absorb some of the water.
but that, like I said, that, I think it was done in Arbor, what do you call it?
Rockaway or in
Rockaway.
Queen?
In
Yeah.
Rockaway, but I don't know if it was successful, but their water table, I don't know what the requirements for their water table is, but they've done it there. And I can find out from the parks people because I think it's either parks or, yeah, I gotta find out, was it a parks project or was it, DOT/DEP? Because.
The meeting last
And
year
it
was
doesn't seem
DOT.
like it would be
DOT,
that
right.
hard a thing for them to do or that
Mm.
expensive.
Yeah.
given the
Well,
alternatives.
But as they had diagrams of these things,
Yeah,
and it did include several feet of digging up and putting rock and whatever stones or whatever. So it wasn't just,
Oh,
okay,
just
let's
on
put a
top,
little
no.
grass. No, it was like dig down. So it's not
Yeah.
like, it's when they repair street potholes with just asphalt.
yeah.
And at some point, you gotta tear all that up and do the job right.
Right.
So these are,
But that's so
They had the
monumentally
di-
expensive that,
well, most highways are about 1 million a mile, so yeah.
Okay.
okay, forget it, go
I just
on.
don't-
No,
no,
don't forget it,
no.
don't forget
It
it.
could be
Trust me.
localized,
Trust me.
it could be.
Yeah.
you
Don't
know,
forget it.
They
and-
could find out. It would be a good way to absorb some of the water. if
No,
it
no,
were
Again,
filled.
But if you've gotta go down 8 feet and your water table is 4 feet,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what
you
it
need a
says.
different
Is that
plan.
the statistic that you have to go down?
Well, that's what we were
That's what-
told.
Yeah. and
They
we're-
did
You have to
some,
have enough to hold the water.
Okay.
Okay, but, all right, so just moving right along then, all right, so we finished the capital part. Okay,
Yes.
so we
capital
wanna
part.
continue to
Yeah,
support.
continue support for the, I will
For this.
ask them to come, once the street is finished, to give us some finding, have they had any problems with it, the pros and cons, and can we have more of it? Because if this is
If
just
it's
the beginning,
Preliminary.
yeah.
If it's
just the
working.
beginning, because if they're gonna do phase 4, 5, and 6 down over there by, Warbass and Trump Towers, Trump's over there, they're gonna tear it up. If we got them, it worked here, guess what? Put it over there too.
Well,
You
I
know,
re- I remember a meeting last year. I don't know if it was parks or whatever, they were discussing doing this to parking lots in
I'm not sure.
some project that's in the neighborhood. I can't remember which one, but warning them that parking lots wouldn't be just,
That was the
Concrete.
Jimbo at the aquarium you're talking about, no.
that was not Pamela's meeting. no.
Okay.
This was a community board meeting.
I'm just
But
trying to remember which one.
It was a suggestion at Pamela's meeting,
Yeah,
I know the
as,
students
but they
did
just threw them
example.
out there, but that's
Yeah.
not really the topic. No, this was a community board meeting and it was one of
I don't know why I'm
Adam's
thinking park.
City of Yes things had
Mm,
that in
okay.
it also. Again, no study, no, just let's throw lots of things out there and see what sticks.
I know.
okay,
But
okay, all right, we're going page 15. Now we're gonna go into the expense part. Of course, this is anything that is not structured.
15.
Page 15, number 5.
Thank you.
So we're gonna go into the health part because, health didn't need that much, capital, but
5.
now we have a lot more programs. So of course, rat abatement, we just need to increase, the personnel for rat, abatement. As
Oh,
you
yes.
know, with these new, especially with the new sanitation, container storage bins that they're asking us to do.
they're not asking,
They're making it, they're
You are
making it.
required.
Sure, you're required.
we will fine you and
Yes.
not pick up your trash.
Yes, no, we're gonna have a presentation, we are gonna have a presentation with sanitation, because that is important, for people who have, 9 units or less, has to have, a contained storage bin
No, you go.
for their units, and whether you're 1 or 2 or 8 units, you have to get one, and that includes.
At least one.
Not-for-profit and a city agency, house of worship, and other businesses that are in a residential dwelling. And with that, you have to remember, us city agents, we have to do it too. Police department has to do it too. and other places have to do it too, so it's gonna be very interesting how, this is gonna be enforced. That's the whole thing. So anyway,
Easy.
yeah, all right, so,
Not gonna be enforced on you, and it will be enforced
Yeah,
on me, and
yeah.
it will be enforced on you.
Yeah, so,
And I think they just sprayed our area, most of our area for West Nile virus.
Yeah.
yes, sure. That, that.
That's the
has
health
happened.
department.
Yeah, health department. It's going to come up here too. You'll
Okay.
see.
We're
where
on
it has-
page 15, what number? is
So
it?
on number
Five.
five, which is basically
Oh,
about the rat
right
bait,
there.
we need more personnel for it. That's a given. Of course, they said, yes, this request is needed. And therefore they'll take any position, but that means that we're keeping it up there because we have rats.
Right.
Oh.
We have water rats.
And they're
That's it.
studying, they
That's- no, that's-
further.
That's their out.
Sure. They,
That's how they get out of
Sure.
doing things.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But they know that we need it, so we're keeping it up there as a health issue that he's addressing. All right, the next one is on page 17. Ooh, this is all yours, guys. All right, oh, this is the air quality. This is what
Yeah.
Selena Grant
Yeah.
wanted to mention. Was
Just advocating.
Advocating.
Yeah.
yes.
Definitely.
All right, so other program to address public health issue requests. We need to address the air quality issues in Coney Island, Brighton Beach, Gravesend, and Seagate. We realized that the people did not properly eliminate the mold from the building. People who are sensitive to molds have become sick and need to test the air quality at these locations. With better technology, air monitor can isolate the problem. So of course, they said they need further study, but we need it up there only because there is a study out there right now. That DEC, right, Jeff, is doing right now.
North of the Belt Parkway.
Yeah, north of Belt.
Yes, New York State, it's in the entire New York State air quality monitoring program. And the issue that I've been on several of the Brooklyn Borough Hall meetings about this, and they have neglected to put in the southern part of the Belt Parkway. Yeah, they, and I've been fighting for this at every meeting. Now, they're not gonna respond to me because this has already been allocated for those areas. They concentrated on northern Brooklyn, near the Brooklyn Queens Expressway, Red Hook, but nothing over here in southern Brooklyn. So I have advocated for it, and we should put that in at least number 11. I think there's another issue on another page here with a study for air monitoring that it should be also included.
All right, so yeah, definitely, we can put that in again. With the new EJ, there's environmental justice department that the mayor's office has. And because we're a low income community, they can look closely about this type of problem. Environmental justice problems issue happened in like Harlem, where they had asthma problem. The environmental justice they always complained for 20 years, and then they found out, yes, they did have asthma because of the plant that they had over there. So we are designated as an environmental justice location for our area. So anything that deals with
In addition, Eddie, we are in Newark.
Yes.
Newark too.
Okay, so we have other issues for, senior citizens with
Yeah.
asthma, with other heart problems, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So so basically we do need this in here to talk about the air quality issues. All right. Any questions with that? Or yes,
English.
yes.
That's after Sandy, we realized it just seems you're in the middle of you're at the end of a thought
Which one is that?
before the we.
Oh, I should say after.
Something we realized,
Yes.
yeah, it just seems It's not an incomplete sentence, it
yeah,
just
yeah,
didn't,
after
it seems
saying,
that something's
yeah,
missing from the
realize-
sentence.
Oh, no, you're right.
Not the what,
no,
just,
no, no,
just
you're right.
English.
So we're asking for monitors, like
um,
sensors to be placed in the neighborhood that will see how much pollution, if it's and the type of pollution.
Yes, because right now, the only one that they're monitoring is along the Belt Parkway and PQE about exhaust, what do you call it, exhaust from cars or heavy vehicles. And, we want them to go further, to look into mold, into, respiratory problems that we have here. And that doesn't lead from, what do you call it, only, exhaust from the Belt Parkway. So we need it more in detail geared to our community versus what state wants, which is along the Belt Parkway, along the BQE. And that's why this is here still.
So the Coney Island Creek is so polluted, does that impact the quality of air as well? And the
I-
people living in that
I
area?
can't answer that because I don't know. It should, but I don't want to be the, authority to say, yes, it does. But that type of study will be looked into when we request it and they can look further into it. Like you said, when Sandy came over and it took everything what was in the creek onto the water, into the land. And when it left, the stuff stayed behind. It stayed behind in the elevator shafts, it stayed behind in the soil, on the trees, and some of the trees did not survive. So we know certain things, certain trees survived, certain trees didn't survive. So it's like, we don't know what is there. It needs further study that it needs further study and, one of these things will address it, or at least
Okay.
one part of it. Okay, and then of course, it says investigate and address water quality complaint, at address or specific street segment. As you know, we need more DEP inspectors for industrial waste and water line. Since there was a dumping at the Beach Haven apartment, the community wants an ongoing investigation of illegal connection that if connection and if found, closed off.
Comma.
Comma, I know. So what has happened in the past, for people who don't know this, there was leakage from Beach Haven apartment. People who don't know where Beach Haven is over by, where is it by?
It wasn't leakage.
Oh,
It
okay,
wasn't
no,
leakage.
that's right. No, you're right.
They dumped directly
It was
south
intentionally,
of the creek.
done.
What did they dump, garbage?
Oh, no,
Waste.
they
Waste.
Waste?
they switched
Yeah, they
their,
just,
they switched
On
their waste line.
ABC?
Their toilet
No,
bowls were
yeah.
going into Coney Island Creek.
Yeah,
Wait,
and we
Just
couldn't
direct
figure it
it.
out. Sure,
But
yes,
that's on ABC.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
did it, and they did it because it was, how did you say? It was in the basement, so no one could see them do it. And they connected their line that came from their apartment to the Coney Island Creek, so the outfall went into the creek. And we didn't know where it was coming until we realized that.
Were they penalized? Did
Oh,
they-
they penalized, but the whole thing is, they got a $400,000 fine, but,
but they saved 4 million
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
So,
And the question there
yeah.
is, how long did they do it? We don't know how long they did it
No
for. Yeah,
idea.
yeah, because, just because they found it that year, how long have they been doing
The
it
entrance
since?
to that creek is right across the street from my house.
Sure, yes, and you could always, as they say, smell it, you could just smell it, yeah. It was bad, and we didn't know it until, I don't know how we found it.
Yeah, how did you find it?
We found it,
Somebody saw it. I think.
no, it wasn't,
I'm not sure.
I forget, but whatever, however they found it, they had to address it, and then they
What
addressed
did they
it.
do to address it?
Oh, they made them close it off. See,
But did they remediate the creek at
well,
all?
that was the reason with the $400,000 that they gave was going to education. Going to,
Education?
going to school, and it went to the aquarium, I think. They broke it down where it could be used as. Not that it solved the problem for future things, because then
Well,
we.
they had to reconnect to the
Yeah.
city
Yeah,
sewers, which was the multi-million-dollar reason they.
yeah. See, our thing, or our thoughts was, to yell at DEP was, they should,
Ron?
Please. okay, they should know that if the water from Beach Haven wasn't going into their facility, which is Knapp Street.
What happened to it?
No, the whole thing is, they should realize that there was a decrease. Whether or not they knew how much it was, they said they didn't know. I said to them, okay, now that you know how much it is, now you can go backwards and see how long that's been happening, and they wouldn't give me the answer. Because I really want to know, how long were we smelling this in the air, with it, and
Wow.
they wouldn't give us an answer, let's put it that way. I said, technology is it, you guys can do the math, X amount of a big building was not going into the sewer line, so how could you not know? Doing the math, we could figure it out, and they're like, no, we couldn't figure it out, and I'm like,
So do they have like a baseline of pollutants or some kind of sensors? So we know the usual basic level and we
the-
can gauge
yeah,
whether it's getting worse or not?
DEP/the health department comes out with, what do you call it, water quality,
Mhm.
every week. They do it during the summertime, I think from like May to October.
You mean
Sure, sure.
what we get in our house,
No,
drinking
no, no,
water
no.
quality?
They go into the actual creek itself to
Oh.
see the creek, level.
Who
of-
does that do?
I can send it to you,
Okay.
because we have that,
Okay.
we look at, when there's a heavy rainstorm, the outfall goes into the creek, and then they say, don't swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's when, those problems happen, but those type of, monitoring station, the creek always been dirty. It was always been dirty, so.
Well, there were former gas producing plants. in
That too,
Coney
yeah,
Island.
that too.
So we have all of that possible.
And paint
pollution.
Yeah,
plant,
sure.
side of,
Yeah.
The lack of a
the
lot
whole
of
thing.
trees,
Yeah.
the whole-
And-
And the
problem-
lack of a lot of
The
trees.
problem is our
exactly.
our storm drains
Goes directly. in.
overwhelm,
Yeah.
when they overwhelm, like when it rains,
It goes in the creek.
no, it doesn't go into the center, the way it's designed, it just winds up sending poop,
Yeah.
Where is it? sent?
right,
Into the
everywhere,
creek, Into the creek.
the whole city,
Wow,
most cities.
Yeah,
wow.
A half an inch of rain does
yeah,
the storm systems. But you get an inch of rain, I don't mean bursts, I don't mean
yeah,
Sandy, just an inch of rain. The storm system's right,
yeah.
can't handle it,
Yeah,
so you wind up,
going outside to the creek, to the ocean, yeah.
or the ocean or
Yeah,
whatever in
ocean
every
too.
city,
Yeah,
The ocean too.
yeah. every
that's why they usually have those warnings where
The
they say,
warnings that say,
don't
don't swim today.
after a heavy rainstorm, and
Yeah.
usually that happens, which is, yes, okay, come on. So I don't want to keep prolonging this,
Yeah,
because,
okay.
number 12 is what you have to, basically it's about the water, thing, we talked about beach. Yes, we just want them to, still investigate, because there are still some illegal connections, we still haven't found them, and when they did find them, they asked them to close it. I hate to say this, but the creek still smells, so there are some other leakage in there, but they can't.
Could it be other, go ahead.
You want more inspectors or inspections?
Inspectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that they're saying because they
No,
don't
not
have
inspection,
people?
yeah, because what they need to do is they need to, find out the location where it is. It takes time to do it, and if they
They
take
need
time.
more people.
More people, that's all, it's just that.
Somebody's willing to go scuba diving.
No. All right, next one, number 13, another, public,
Right.
public
The
health issue
honeymooners?
request. Basically,
Where are you?
this is number 13. Is the same thing that we said at number 11. I think we just put it more in detail. So the question is that okay to leave it there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. that's
I
all.
had a question on that one, sorry, I had a question on
Go.
that one.
Go.
That study that's only
Yeah.
north of the Belt Parkway,
Yes.
we were told
Yeah.
by whoever that it was reason to, because there's no asthma, there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
problem south in Coney Island.
Yes.
That was the excuse.
Yep.
But-
At a committee meeting here, the reason, and this was a federal study, so it's now, there's no opportunity to add to
Yeah.
that federal study, but it was, because there's no problem south of the Bell Parkway, so there's no reason to have included it.
Because of asthma, they're saying. Is
Yeah,
that what
but
you
now they
said?
updated, if you go on anybody's property, you see where it says
It's
air
a
quality,
loaded-
it says it's bad
Yeah.
for this area.
Yeah, we know it's
So
that's
they
not
got
true.
the data from somewhere.
But
Yeah.
Ida may remember where this was actually done,
Yeah.
but that was what we were told from why why didn't you go? Why'd you stop at the Bell Parkway? Because there's no, according to, there's no problem south of the
They
Parkway.
needed
They
to
knew
ask
full
course,
them
well.
to stop
course.
and
They
run made out
sure.
there. They know, they
They
can tell you
would-
about the
Yes.
kids in the asthma.
They know full
Yeah.
well there was.
But
And
there are
that's-
other health
Yes.
problems that arise,
Well,
like heart disease, even they're saying.
I'm not
Parkinson's
disagreeing.
might
I'm
be-
not disagreeing. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
why they
that
stopped.
that was that study that
That's what they're saying.
that's what they're saying, and we need to
They
tell
need to
them
show us.
Okay.
some-
not
Okay.
true.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving right along on page 18, number 14. 14 says create and or promote educational awareness on preventing chronic disease, including quitting smoking and nutrition, physical
I don't
activity.
think you need quitting
Basi-
in that sentence.
Yeah, I know, but what do you call, but basically, yes, we need them to have more educational programs dealing
Healthy eating.
with healthy eating, nutrition and obesity.
Mhm.
Right, so, alright, moving right along,
Yep.
Alright, we're going to next page, which is page 19,
Page 9,
number 19,
number 9.
alright? And it says, we're asking them to address other public issues, and this one, we asked about teen pregnancy for our community, we need programs in our school and community to bring attention to this issue. It's always good to address it, so we leave it in there, for that reason. Alright, next one is number 21. Priority number 21, it says invest in access to low cost finance and financial incentive to help business conduct or improve. Oh, no, sorry, guys. That you guys.
I was about to say.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah. It's my fault. Number 23. 23. sorry.
Page 20.
20, priority number 23. Oh, this is easy. Canine, increased enforcement of canine waste law. Of course we need. I'm not even going to go there. But the only problem about that is that they don't give signs. They do not give signs. and
Canine
this is
waste.
What, we really need.
We don't have.
And they,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
and there's not much enforcement to, go after the dogs because we have to tell them when they're there. So we need, increased enforcement for that, reason.
Couldn't they at least have like, dispensers where there are bags
In the
that?
parks, in the parks, they have that.
Many of the parks and
Okay.
And the new one, which is Aston View Park, is coming up, with a dog run, so that you can go over there, if you can bring your dog down there, they'll have it.
In my area.
Sure, and we definitely want, but you also have to, with the dog run, you have to have volunteers who maintains that, what do you call it, that run. Because the parks do not give maintenance, people.
No, I'm not talking about dog run, dog
Baggies.
baggies and stuff like that. We did that along
yeah.
our place.
Yes.
Too much crap on the
Okay,
streets.
so moving right along, page 21, is number 27, priority number 27. Of course, we're asking more about, additional, public health issue requests. This one, basically, it was to continue support for, promoting flu shots, measles, and other immunization to the immigrant community. The outreach must be translated into other languages so that it could get to the target audience. It must be explained to them that it's essential to vaccinate the family in order not to get sick or die. There is a growing Asian, Pakistani, Hispanic, Russian, Ukrainian community that needs a translation for immunization program. So of course we need this. So any questions to that? Okay, let's move right along. Number to page 22, priority number 31.
31.
Right, and this is what you're seeing now is basically continuous support, means that they do have money for, or it's in there, but we just say. Continuous support, there's a need for a drug prescription awareness campaign for our community. Family needs to know that if there's any CBOs to address this problem, needs to know if there's any CBOs to address this problem. Okay, so we just need, what do you call it, funding for people who have prescription drugs, problems. So we just want to continue that type of support. Okay, so page 23, and number 35. This is, expand disposable events for hazardous, household waste. We need to expand disposable hazardous waste, household waste. Would like to have an event locally, so people don't have to travel far, halfway across, Brooklyn to dispose hazardous items. We suggest, as, upgrade reciprocal the solar activated compacted. I don't know if anyone went to, we did ask sanitation about it. They said that it was more problems to having it because it was breaking down. So I don't know if we should put that
Yeah.
in there
What?
on the bottom.
The solar operated.
Yeah, there's a
compacted.
solar
Oh,
operating.
we're breaking down?
No, the people were abusing it and breaking it so that
Mm.
it didn't function. So it was more to fix it up than to have it on the street. But yes,
So is it possible to just have that event that they had recently, like a quarterly event?
well, that's why we tried to have it more in the area versus going to Floyd Bennett Field or going to,
So they
you know,
recently had the event.
yeah, they have one recently. They have,
TV and all that
yeah,
stuff.
they had MCU Park, but I don't know if anyone.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
Was
that's
it
what
2
I
years
just-
ago?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, but it's happened more frequently for us because the
sure.
majority usually makes us go to
For sure.
Field. And, you know, it's just a pain in the butt, you know, to drag those stuff, yeah.
We can
Yes.
reach out to our electeds.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because if they have, we just had paper shredding.
Yes,
from one
which
of
is
our-
very good, that
We
happened,
had
very good.
Um,
whole bit.
and
If
also,
we have the electronics.
Yes,
so
and the painting,
closer,
yes.
It doesn't have to wind up on the street
Yep.
or just thrown out.
Yeah.
and-
Nope, it's a very good
so-
suggestion.
Yeah,
And yeah, and we can always ask them about.
311 just tells you to throw it in the
Yeah,
garbage.
which is like, no, it's not the best thing to do for the environment. but,
also, with
yeah.
the lithium batteries that are so
That's with the
dangerous.
electronic,
That would be
the
included in
electronic,
it.
disposal. But I am gonna cut off the part where it says upgrading the receptacles for the, I mean, it was a good idea, but.
We
but
asked them,
Yeah,
I
we did
think we
ask
asked about those
Sure.
because they're in Manhattan.
Yes.
But those are put in privately funded.
Yeah, and
They're not city.
Yeah, and when we
These
did ask them
computer,
about.
they're solar and
They
they
didn't like it.
Machine.
All right.
compact and whatever. They're
That's it, guys.
amazingly expensive.
Okay, so before we finish this up, guys, oh, go ahead, yeah, oh, that's it. The
Okay,
time to add.
Again, I spoke with Dr. Brady yesterday and he was very concerned. It seems that the FDNY ambulances, there are not enough of them and there's not enough staff. And what's happening is Mamami's ambulances are, as he said, poaching the patients that would normally come to Coney Island. They're getting to the address first and they're taking the patients. He was wondering if we could put in somewhere to increase funding for FDNY and for their ambulances. So that they could get more staff, so that our residents would go to their, you know, to Coney Island Hospital, South Brooklyn, rather than to Mamami's. You know, where he believes the care is better and it's time of the essence if you're getting a patient to hospital.
But FDNY is also equipped with defibrillators. Rather than my money, just all the small ambulances, we don't have enough equipment, but FDNY, they have the pump, you know, the defibrillator.
Right.
Usually, yeah, so if somebody's heart stops.
Oh,
you know,
see,
they-
so that's also a good thing to add, Eddie.
Okay.
You hear what the lady said?
No.
Sydney ambulances have the defibrillators.
Alright, what we could do is we could put it in with this part here that you guys have. Where it says needs for the healthcare and human services. We're gonna just put it under other needs. Because I'm looking above it, there's nothing that actually reflects asking for the first page of this health.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, so we're gonna put it under as other needs. And we're gonna just yeah, I think it's a capital project because if not,
No, you're talking about,
Huh?
they need bodies.
then it would be.
That's-
Okay.
Well, she said, yeah, she said they need the truck so that.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Feeding them, no, yeah, this, yes,
Yeah.
the same, yes.
When it comes to these ambulance and stuff that come,
Sure.
it depends on how much they also charge you for taking you to the hospital.
Ooh.
Some of these ambulances are very expensive to take you to Coney Island Hospital, which is ridiculous.
Oh, that's an insurance thing.
Yeah, that's
That's
insurance, yeah,
insurance
sure,
issue.
sure.
Some people don't have the insurance.
No, oh, no.
They'll take you to the city hospital.
Yeah.
Like Coney Island.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think what she's saying is they want more so that they could care for us locally
Yeah.
and send them to the closer hospital versus the Maimonides, which would cost them even more because it's a longer
Yeah,
distance.
exactly. Pay by
So that
distance.
might help with what you're saying.
Ambulance that answers the Sydney ambulances would take them to.
Coney Island. Yeah,
That's what.
but yeah, that,
Yeah, we
that's
could
the
definitely put that
insurance
in.
thing, unfortunately, yeah.
It may be
Yeah.
so, but a
Mhm.
lot of people choose, like if an ambulance came to pick me up
Yeah,
and they said, I'm gonna take you to South Brooklyn, I would say maybe not.
no.
Because given your condition and what's
Sure.
going on with you, some people rather go to a hospital that has more equipment or better equipped doctors to handle your situation.
I think you can tell them that, but I think they have a guideline of how far they can take
This
you,
is true.
so
depending on the
that
condition.
still doesn't
Alright,
matter.
Alright, so we are gonna put the part in about the ambulance, the need for it. No, but we're gonna put it as an add-on to the
Needs.
needs, other needs. Yeah, so it's just other need, and we're Barbara will help you write out the description.
Ms. Erin?
Yeah, or down.
So what you're saying is that they're poaching patients and taking them to Maimonides
Oh, these
instead?
are, I mean, ambulances.
They're
They got the
stationed
wall,
here.
and they got the wall.
Yeah.
And they obviously must hear it on the radio. I didn't go into specifics. That
Okay.
You can say.
Sydney is not.
Yeah, they get here fast.
Okay.
Close the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
Second. All right, guys, thank you very much.
meeting adjourned.
Meeting
Thank
adjourned.
you.
Thank you.
Does Jeff wanna say anything? No?
Too bad. It's adjourned.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jeff.
Okay,
Good night,
Thank you, guys.
everybody.
Good night.
seeing-
good night, everyone.
So nice.
Thank you, guys. And Monday is the next meeting.